Hey everybody, welcome to April. I have your monthly Shadowscope all ready for you, so let's get started. So shadow work is a really important part of any spiritual practice, and that's what I'm here to help you guys with this month. So we're going to be taking a note from the Osho Zen Tarot deck and examining a part of our life in a little bit more deeper detail that we might want to be introspective about and just pay some closer attention to. So the card that came up for you guys this month was clinging to the past. It's this one right here. And this one has a lot of interesting kind of connotations that go with it that I wanted to share with you guys. So the first one that I want to share with you is about the energy of forgiveness. That's the first point of this energy of clinging to the past. Sometimes we get stuck in situations where we can't forgive somebody and we get stuck in the past because of it, whether that is someone who has wronged us, intentionally or unintentionally, whatever the reason is, we are holding on to an anger or a resentment or a feeling of wanting to punish somebody for something, or maybe even just wanting someone to recognize, hey, I'm really hurting because of your actions or because of what you did. And so sometimes we hang on to the past a little too tightly because we can't let go of something that has hurt us. And this is very difficult because when we cling to the past, it makes it impossible for us to move on, open up into new spaces, create opportunities, take opportunities for ourselves in the future. And sometimes we can just get so stuck on holding on to this one thing that we can't bring anything new into our lives in that particular area. So that is why forgiveness is important. Now, forgiveness is not about forgetting or agreeing with what the other person did. Forgiveness is actually just for you, because honestly, the other person doesn't really care so much what they did because it's not really happening to them. It's happening to you. And we are all kind of the main character in our own story, right? So we're the one that's most affected by what's happening to us. You know, other people can be sympathetic or compassionate, but it's not really affecting them the same way. And how could it? Because they're not living our particular lives and experiencing our particular experiences. So when we forgive, we really release that energy out of ourselves and allow more positive, constructive, conducive energy to come in. So that's why forgiveness is really important. So maybe something that you want to think about this month is really some places where you could dig a little deeper and forgive, or even just some places where you're angry about something and just really deconstructing that in a beneficial and curious way. The second thing that we want to talk about is control. Right? Clinging to the past, a lot of people often have control issues, and that is why they can't let go. So this month, we're also being asked to look at areas where we are trying too hard to control something that has already come and gone, right? I think sometimes we all go over things in our mind, what we could have said in the moment or should have said in the moment, things we would have wanted to do, things we wish just simply would have happened differently. But, you know, we really look at the issue of control and how that's holding us back. What I see oftentimes is people are really repeating destructive patterns, right? What they're doing is they're seeing an event that happened before, and because they had no control over that, they are consciously or subconsciously inserting themselves into other situations in order to try to create a different outcome, proving to them that either they were right, they were deserving, what happened was unfair, I can change what's happening to me, right? And the thing is, that's really important to remember is that you have no control over anything ever, really. The only thing that you have control over is how you are choosing to react to situations. That's it. Because if I tell you to make me do a jumping jack right now, or to eat some Brussels sprouts, which I absolutely hate, you can't make me do it, right? Like it's really, you can't control other people to a certain extent. And I think once you downshift into that mindset, acceptance becomes easier. It becomes easier to release things because it's not always about you either. It's about the other person. And so sometimes being able to release that is helpful in allowing yourself to move past really difficult situations. But really having to learn how to release that control is going to be really important when you're looking at the shadow work of clinging to the past this month. The third and the last thing that I really want to talk about that comes with this energy this month of clinging to the past is we are always creating new versions of ourselves. Always, always. We are never going to be exactly the same for the most part, right? Most people are constantly growing, changing, evolving. whether or not you want to. A really good example of this is coming with age, right? Like you cannot act the same way you acted now when you were 6, right? Not if you're like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 plus, right? Like it's not going to fly. You can't do it. And you can't do it because your situation, your environmental factors have changed. There's a lot of things that are preventing you from doing this and surviving, right? Like, and having a fulfilling life. So, in addition to this, there's going to be other events in our life that alter us, right? Things that we realize that change who we are, right? And so sometimes we go through very big growth periods. And this can be difficult when a lot of who we are is changing, and we have to shed those old versions of ourselves in order to step into the future. And I am kind of in the middle of something like this right now, and I can tell you how difficult it is to just really kind of accept that you have to let all of those pieces go, because some of the pieces you really love and have really served you well. But there's another part of you that's waiting to emerge, and it can't show up if you're holding on to things that are no longer serving you. And we have to know deep within ourselves that it's okay to do that. So something that I would suggest is really to let go properly, is to really honor those past versions of yourself. You know, whether you want to do a little ritual or ceremony, or whether you want to just take a moment of silence or contemplation to really thank them for all they have done for you, for getting you to this place where you can transition to this new version of you. Sometimes just having that tangible goodbye or thank you or releasing, if you want to actually make like a releasing ritual to kind of separate that part and wish it well, that might be helpful too. So that might be something that you want to look into this month too, is considering like what versions of yourself have you outgrown, what can you release, and what parts of the new version of you are trying to come forward, right? Like I have all this new stuff coming in and I'm like, really? I'm like, well, I guess that would be kind of fun. But can I do that? I don't know. And, so it's really about being curious, like, well, what's it going to take to get there? What would I need? Or what parts of this am I already doing? So it can be really fun to the transition. And I think we focus so hard on hanging on that we forget how good it can be to let go and embrace new things. So that's really the energy of clinging to the past that's coming up for me, for you guys, for this month. But until next time, thank you guys so much for watching, and have an absolutely beautiful day.